Oh, this is cute.
Isn't it?
Oh, shit. Oh. Now it's that thing of like, where do I put my legs so this doesn't look...
Weird.
I think we're all right. Oh my God, I'm still self-conscious. So I think we can just kind of start just talking about like what you get out of like being in the outdoors. Because in terms of everyone who's part of the WoeMan community, you are like Captain Hike, Hike Daddy.
Is that my official... Oh, Hike Daddy.
Hike Daddy.
Leave my age out of this, please. I think for me it's detachment. There's, I mean, you just have to listen to this, don't you? It's so peaceful. And I think we, the age we live in is an ever connected period of time, you know, phones, everything, we're constantly connected, working remotely, laptops, it's just a constant state of being switched on. And I think it's really healthy and really beneficial to just get away from that and just be out here, cut through the noise and just be comfortable existing without all of that, because I think it's important to have that balance. And it just brings a bit of peace of mind, I think.
And like that disconnect that you kind of like mentioned, is that a part of what you maybe struggle with at times?
100%. Like that always on feeling, you know, the constant, there's nothing, not a moment in time where I'm not thinking constantly and the racing thoughts and, you know, just putting phones down and switching off and being present. It is something that I really do struggle with just in normal day-to-day, definitely.
And it's like nice though to kind of have that connection between the disconnect that you can feel, given that we all live our lives relatively connected and social.
Yeah.
But then to come somewhere like this where it's very isolating, but to feel more connected, I think that's a beautiful thing.
But I think it's about having the energy to come back and be connected in a purposeful way, in an energetic way. Because being connected endlessly, I don't think the human mind's actually meant to do that. I think it's healthy to have that disconnect, that switch off, that boundary where, you know, I can take myself away, recharge, refuel, reset, and it just helps when I come into being a social creature. I can do it wholeheartedly without having to drag myself through it and exhaust myself and things like that, because it's really easy to feel overwhelmed. And like I say, especially with social media, you feel like you're constantly connected to these people and then you're seeing them in real life. Like, do you ever really switch off?
There we go. Given the headspace that you're moving through through January, like what was it that got you there, I suppose? Or like what is it about January or just kind of this time of year that lends itself to just not being...
I'm actually controversial. I secretly love January. Maybe not so secretly now. I love January because I think it's almost like the calm after the storm. December is full on, isn't it? Like, it is an onslaught of Christmas is here and you will enjoy it, whether you want to or not. And Christmas starts earlier and earlier. You know, Christmas stuff is just constantly in your face from about October onwards, realistically, isn't it? And it just gets to a point where, you know, everyone wants Christmas plans, Christmas catch-ups. It's all very alcohol-led, which I don't have a great relationship with, and it doesn't produce the best effects in me, especially afterwards. So that time of year is just not a fun one for me. January feels like a nice calm for me, and where I can sometimes do my best work, especially outdoors. I've been able to fortunately spend a lot of time out in the hills and the fells over the last couple of weeks, and that is what's really lent itself to the headspace I'm in now, in that that's the reset I needed after that really heavy emotional social overload of December.
And like when you're out somewhere like this or like just, you know, anywhere out in nature, to be honest, like what are you getting out of being here? Like what are you kind of picking up? What are you receiving?
I mean, aside from imagining I'm Frodo Baggins, because that goes through my head a lot.
I'm in the Shire.
Yeah.
I'm saving everyone from the clutches of Mount Doom and Sauron.
I think I'm that important. I think for me, it's appreciation of what is around, because it is, again, with the endless social media cycles, news cycles, you're fed a lot of doom and gloom. And it's important to be aware of what is not so great in the world and how we can influence and how we can support and things like that. But I think it's also really important to take time for the opposite. And I mean, how many times have we stopped, walked along today and just gone, God, that's beautiful. And there's so many beautiful things in the natural world, in the world around us, that really shouldn't be taken for granted. And I think that small bit of appreciation it has a lot of power, has a lot of weight in a positive way.
And like, just say, you were speaking to somebody or with somebody who was kind of like just starting to experience like the outdoors and hiking for the first time. Like, what would you kind of say to somebody who is very like unaware of like what nature can offer?
I think we're all unaware, aren't we, until you put yourself in a position to raise your awareness. I think I'm a person who's just give everything a try. Go out there, and I have found where I love, and it tends to be on, the really remote places, and that's where I find a lot of solace. But a lot of people find it in the woodlands, in different areas of nature, and you will feel that energy when you get there. So if you get out and you're exploring, being amongst nature as a well-being tool, just the same as anything that you try, sometimes it probably might not feel, this is not my space. I don't know why the hell I'm out here. I don't know what I'm doing. That's fine. Try something else. Move on. It's not everyone has to become white hiking man like everyone has done over the past couple of years.
Hiking saving.
Yeah. Hiking is saving everyone. But there's a place for it. Whether it is our sea swimming, coastal walks, up the fells, in the woodlands. Just go out and experience it, and you will find things that just catch your eye, that catch your imagination, spark your curiosity, and the only way you can do that, though, is to try and be present, to take it all in.
Do you have a period in time or like a moment where you kind of like realised like the power of like nature, or like how much it kind of like gives you?
There's so many, and again, the different little pinpoints around the UK and different moments in my life. But it's a feeling more than anything. It's just, you will get to a space, there's a beautiful place up in Fort William. I don't know if I've mentioned I used to live in Scotland. It's Steel Falls, and it is just such a beautiful spot. You've got the water cascading behind you, and you're looking at Ben Nevis in front of you, and across the glen and everything, and you're just like, this is the perfect place to just set everything aside and be present. You've got beautiful sound of water, the tallest mountain in the UK in front of you. What can be better than that, really? And that's a feeling it gives me. It's a contentment, I think. And I think a lot of the time, especially if you have any kind of mental health problems, even more so if they're longer term, a lot of the time you're just searching for that contentment, aren't you? There's that nice little feeling where your mind isn't racing, where the little voice in your head isn't nagging away at you. You just are present still, and you can just breathe and let the weight of the world go. And it's those little moments I look for when I'm outside.
I think it's kind of like important to kind of like balance it out as well with just that notion of, yes, coming outdoors, and it does allow you to kind of just switch off and be more present. But that doesn't necessarily make any issues or thoughts that are kind of running through your head go away.
Oh no, absolutely not.
But it does allow you to just calm yourself down to a point at which things just don't feel as heavy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's, imagine yourself carrying a physical weight, like a backpack or something like that. Just the moment to take it off, feel the weight come off you, and take a breather, and then return to it. You can return to things with so much more vigour, different perspective. I think perspective's a huge thing when you're outside. always challenge your perspective and change it, because anything you can always do with a 5-minute breather from it to come back to it and go, how didn't I see that was the solution all along? How didn't I see that this was the problem all along? So it's a like I say, a reset, a break, a pause, and that moment to just go, I've got it now. Because when you cut through the noise, sometimes the answer or a solution, or just some path through whatever it is that's going on in your head just suddenly comes, and you're just like, there it is. That's what I've been looking for. But when you get lost, and sometimes that's what the inside of my head feels like, a tangled little web of nonsense, to just put all that down for a moment and come back and you go, found it. Got my little way out of this one.
And you can go as deep into this as you want, or glaze over it as little as you want. But like, just in terms of like things that you do struggle with.
Yeah.
Like, is there anything specific or?
It's a very long list, Alex. How long do you want this video to be? Well, it started when I was 5. I think I struggle with a lot of things that I imagine a lot of people suffer with or experience, a lot of men in particular, a lot of gay men in particular. Self-worth. What is my worth? Because there is narratives out there that tell you that you are not worthy. And it's important to detach yourself from that and maintain a centered sense of self. That constant kind of nagging imposter syndrome. It's like, why am I doing this? Who has let me do this? Like, I'm an idiot and I should not be allowed in the real world. And just, bizarrely, because I fake it quite well, self-confidence, I'm not a very self-confident person. I believe firmly in the school of faking it till you make it to get me there, but navigating social situations for me can be really difficult. I overthink everything. Classic overthinker with, nagging shades of self-doubt.
Happens.
I don't know if you can relate or...
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm sitting here looking at you now going, why am I out here with him? He's worthless.
Thank you. Someone said it. I knew I was validated in thinking that all along.
Yeah. Those thoughts that you're thinking, sometimes are true.
You are trash. But yeah, I think you have to laugh about it, because there is genuine days where I look in the mirror and actually think it, and when you stop to think that that's your internal monologue and you project that onto yourself, it's actually insane. Like, why do I, there's enough pressures and judgment in the world, yet the worst of it comes from myself. And it's turning that voice off that I really struggle with. It's a work in progress, and I love how far I've come with it, and I used to really resent the negative areas of my mental health, the anxiety, the depression. And I think I'm at a position now where the more I try and alienate myself from it and other my mental health as this little gremlin or whatever, the more I create a fracture within me, and the more I am at war with myself, constantly at odds with myself. My philosophy in more recent years has changed to that it's just part of me. Like, everyone has a part of them that isn't necessarily the best feature or the best asset or the best part of the personality. But the more you try to other it and push it away, the more friction and tension you create within yourself. And it can be a process of just slowing down, getting what I need from the people and the world around me, and moving forward in a much better space. And I found I've become a hell of a lot less erratic by doing that.
I've become a lot more approachable.
Oh, I don't know about that. There's some days my face definitely says, do not approach.
Do not engage. No.
Like those little dogs that have like a little lead or vest that's like, nervous. Do not approach. Yeah. Do not pet.
Might bite.
I need one of those some days.
But also with that, is like, I often think the older I get, obviously you struggling with self-worth, like, your struggles of self-worth might kind of take you to this point, my struggles of self-worth might take me to this point. And the same with me, like my anxious thoughts might take me to here, your anxious thoughts might take you to there. But I often find that it's nothing, those feelings are nothing that are strictly individual to us.
No.
Like they're very like human feelings, and often trying to kind of separate the struggle that you're going through is something that's solely yours, and actually realizing that it's a human issue and a very human feeling. Like often just getting outside and reminding myself that there are other people out there who are living just as fruitful and dynamic lives and probably struggling with the same things that I do can be quite reassuring. Even if it's just for a day, as I say, when you're just getting outdoors to just kind of feel a part of the world rather than like a prisoner in your own home.
So what you're saying is we should wallow in collective misery together?
Yes, but let's do it outside.
Yeah. Let's just like not do it on Instagram.
Yeah.
Let's do it here instead.
Yeah. Why don't we wallow, but as part of an outdoors community where we're not getting better, we're collectively getting worse, but outside.
We're just this horrible echo chamber of negativity.
Yeah. Let's get out of the echo chamber of online and do it.
Really drag each other down.
Yeah,
let's do that. No, but I think there's a lot of what you said in having that perspective that you're not the only person in the union. You're not the main character. You're not the only person in the world.
Which is shocking to me.
Absolutely devastating to me.
That's news.
But yeah, it's a collective experience, and no matter, like you say, what level you feel these emotions at, ultimately they have a stem in valid human emotions. They exist for a reason. And it's trying to understand why you are feeling them to such a heightened level. And we will all, again, have very similar reasons why we're feeling that. The experience might be different, but the rationale behind it isn't that different. And we're all trying to get through this life together. To isolate yourself, I think you're putting yourself on a very lonely and difficult path. Not an impossible one, but I think it's an easier one. And it is through, a collective community appreciation, understanding, support. I'm really fortunate that I've met phenomenal people in my life who have kicked me up the arse when I needed it, but also grounded me when I needed it, and have given me some great advice, great support, and just allowed me to be me, more importantly, and tell me how I navigate my mental health. No one told me you should do this. They just supported me in whatever I felt like was right for me at that moment in time, and that is something that I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for the communities I found myself in, the people around myself, and it's something I'm always thankful for, always grateful for, because it's cheesy, and I know I sound like I'm giving my Oscar award-winning speech right now, but it genuinely would be nothing without the people I've met along the way. And remembering there's that beauty in humanity as well. Again, we're bombarded with a lot of the negative side of humanity, but we aren't all innately terrible. Present company aside.
Well, yeah. I'm a piece of shit. I'm a real piece of work.
Yeah, well, you know what? Acceptance is the first step, Alex.
No, it is, and we're healing today. What a healing experience this has been.
So cathartic.
And how do you feel now that you're outdoors?
I mean, yeah, great, amazing. No, like, I think there's just knowing what your happy space is, isn't there? And for me, it is outdoors. For us, it is outdoors, and for the community that you've helped foster, it does lean into that, but it doesn't necessarily have to be this. You know what I mean? Like, it's like I say about that feeling that you find when you're doing something. Some people find it in books, some people find it in sport, some people find it here, just sat looking at some beautiful clouds hovering over the valleys. Like, that to me is stunning and calming, and just makes me appreciate everything so much more, because there's a lot to appreciate.
Lovely. I hope we don't get piles from sitting on the ground. Is that even a thing? Does that
like,
happen?
I feel as though it was something
That's
Nana told me.
Like a Nana thing.
Yeah.
You get piles if you sit on the cold floor. I'm just not sure that actually happened. Right, well that is that. That was a lovely little conversation, that. That was gorgeous.
Thanks.
I can be profound when I want to be. Should we go back?